tightness in your stomach, or it's a feeling of a pit in your stomach, or it's tightness in your chest, or maybe a squeezing in your throat, but it's not nearly as dangerous or as intense as we often think that it is in our heads. So if you can drop out of your head when you notice you're feeling an emotion and into your body and just describe what's happening in your body, something magical happens. You start to soften the edges and the intensity of the emotion. So when I'm feeling a really intense emotion and I'm all in my head about it, I'll drop into my body and I will literally describe it to myself. I will narrate to myself what is happening in my body. Sometimes I will literally do this out loud. So I'll say, my heart is racing. My armpits are sweating right now. I feel red in my cheeks. I have a tightness in my throat that feels like a boa constrictor is wrapped around it. And I'll get descriptive and I'll describe if it has a temperature or a color. And just turning your energy to what's happening in your physical body will help you calm down and will help you feel better before you have even done anything else, or even go back to managing your mind or trying to solve whatever problem or feel better. You will automatically feel better just by dropping out of your head and into your body.
I love that, because it really does. I think it will diminish it by at least like the most 50%. Like, and yes, right now you might think, no, it doesn't. Like, but the more you practice it, I promise, it really does diminish it. Just doing that. And then you can keep going deeper into it, which the next step is getting curious and asking questions, right? Because then that's when you start gaining control over your mind, right? Like the first step is gain control over your body, like just, okay, stabilize your body, find safety. Now walk your way up to your head. Like, what is your brain telling you that's creating this turmoil in your body? So what are some questions that can help listeners to get them like going and starting to be curious about what's really happening that's making them feel this way?
Yeah. I encourage everyone to keep their questions really simple. And first, just start with, what am I feeling right now? And then maybe the answer comes to you and you say, okay, I'm feeling anxiety. Because oftentimes the first emotion that comes to us is kind of like a surface level emotion, right? So we want to just get curious about why. And so maybe I'll say, what am I feeling right now? And maybe I'll ask, why am I feeling this way? And it helps me understand what's going on and then maybe come to the root of it, which is not always necessary. Sometimes you can just say, okay, I'm feeling anxiety. I don't know why, but I'm safe to feel this way. It's just a tightness in my chest right now. And I can still go about my day and I don't need to spend my time trying to figure out why. Sometimes we want to figure out why. And just asking yourself really simple questions from a place of curiosity and compassion rather than judgment will help you understand. And then you can go to the next step of managing your mind. So you can say, what are the thoughts that are creating this anxiety? And once you have kind of figured those out, then you can start to redirect your mind if that's what you want to do next.
And I love it. I love that you said, if that's what you want to do next.
Oh.
I love the option, because it is an option. You can stay in that emotion as long as you need to. That's another thing that you taught me, that I learned from you, is to just, okay, right now you want to feel this way. That's okay. And it helped me a lot in how I coach my clients as well, because as coaches, we want our clients to feel good. We want our family to feel good right away. And it changed my parenting as well. It changed the way I helped my children and even my spouse go through whatever they're going through. I caught myself wanting them to get over it as fast as possible, because we love our children. We love our spouse. We want them to feel better, right? Because it also benefits us. If they're feeling better, then our life is easier. Let's be honest. So I found myself like trying to coach them, but the more I allowed my emotions and the more compassion I had for myself, and the more I stopped trying to fix my emotions, the more I stopped trying to fix their emotions. And I found myself talking to my daughter and just being like, yep, that sucks, and left it at that. I'm like, yep. So it sounds like you are experiencing the 50-50. It sounds like right now you're not having fun. And I know that's a bummer, right? And I left it at that. And trust me, I had to bite my tongue because I wanted to be like, okay, now let's think of a positive thing and let's be grateful and blah, 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 right? Let's go into all the fixing modalities, like all the things that can make her feel better. But I was like, no, yeah, right now it sucks. Right now you're experiencing the side effects of other people's actions and it sucks. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, like that's all I can say. In my relationship, it has allowed me to watch my husband struggle and not want to go and fix it for him. We want to do that so bad in our relationships. We want to be like, oh, I have the tools. I have the tools. Can I raise my hand and tell you what to do? Like we want to do it so bad. But it has allowed me to just let him have that experience and let him fix it or feel it or not fix it or indulge in it or whatever he wants to do with it. And I'm like, yeah, that sucks. That's all I can say to him. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry you're experiencing that, but I know you can handle it. I know you'll find a way, whatever it is that I'm going to say to him, but I'm not telling him what to do, or I'm not trying to fix it for him. I'm not trying to go and extend myself just so he can feel better, because we really can't do that. So I've noticed like that allowing our emotions, allowing emotions to go through us can also help us have better relationships. Um, so like how have you seen in either your clients or in yourself, how has it really improved your life and relationships and how you do business when you have learned to allow yourself to feel the emotions?
Yeah, that's so powerful and so true what you're describing. Because the reason that we try to control other people's emotions or try to manipulate them or try to affect them is ultimately because we're trying to affect our emotions. Right.
Yep.
Like I had an experience similar to what you've described with your kids. I had an experience with my 7-year-old the other night, and I was in bed with him and my 10-year-old, and I was reading them our book before bed, and he got really mad at something and he stormed out of the room. And I, in that moment, was having my own emotional experience, and I found myself wanting to control his emotional experience so that I could control my emotional
Mm-hmm.
experience. It's like a spider's web. We all, our natural inclination is to try to control other people's emotions to affect our own.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't need, it's this manipulation and actually like using people to try to have the experience that we want. And we're not doing it 99% of the time out of any malice, but we think that's what we need to do to have the emotional experience what we want. We think we have to control other people to create it for us. But when we realize, oh, I just am in control of my emotional experience and I can handle it and I don't need anyone else to change their behavior so I can have the experience I want, then everyone around you is free to experience their emotions the way that they want to. And I remember not like chastising my son or forcing him to come back in the room, even though that's really what I wanted. And I took a deep breath. My heart was racing because I was angry and I was disappointed that he wouldn't lay in bed and listen to the book because this was like our special time at the end of the day. So I let myself have those emotions. And I also let him have his emotions. And I regulated my nervous system. I took a deep breath. And then from there, I was able to ask myself, what do I really want right now? And what I really wanted was to just keep reading. So I did. So I was showing up authentically for myself. And probably 2 minutes later, as I was still reading, he came back into the room and he came and interrupted me and he kissed me on my cheek and he said, I just wanted a little alone time and I feel better now. And he laid down
Oh,
and kept listening to the book. And it was like a whole non event. It was like a whole, like nothing came of it. And he just took himself in the other room, regulated his emotions the way that he knew how to, and came back when he was ready. And I was so proud of both of us.
Oh, so cute. Oh my gosh. I remember those days. What a great example of like of feeling the emotion in the moment, right? And I know that that requires more energy when we are in the moment, to allow the emotions to go through us. It's I think it's easier once it's happened, because then it's like, okay, it's not right there. But in the moment, it can be hard at first. So it's okay if you don't catch yourself at first. While it's happening, it's okay. You can go back and just sit with the emotion, tap into your body. What is it? Okay, go back and think, like if you can't think of the last time, just what was the last time that I felt this way? If you want to process an emotion, it doesn't have to be a right there and then, because I know that's for people that are experts that are like already have done it for a while. So if you can't get yourself to like catch yourself in the moment, which is the ideal, it's go back and ask yourself, when was the last time I felt this way? What was I doing the 5 minutes before that? What was I thinking? Just kind of start getting yourself to walk yourself through the scenario to see what got you to start getting into this situation and feeling this way. One thing that stood out to me that you said was that you asked yourself, what do I want to do? Oh, and that is so powerful, because at that moment, we feel like we are victims. We feel like we have no control over our bodies, over the situation, and let alone over other people. So we feel so victimized at that moment. So I love that you said that. Like, what do I want to do? Oh, I have a say. Oh, okay. I can do what do I want to do? That is so important. Why is it important for to start like asking yourself, what do I want to do? What do I really want to do? What do I not want to do?
Mm. It's important, one, because we're often very out of touch with what we actually want. We're so focused on making decisions from obligation rather than desire. So that's been a huge part of my personal growth over the last couple of years, finding coaching and finding these tools is to ask what I want, because I call myself like the queen bee of people pleasers. My whole life I was so worried about getting other people to like me, and I was so outwardly focused, like what do they want? What do other people want? And let me do that so that they will like me. And now I really make an effort to find out and answer what it is that I want. And also, there are so many times that we think we know what we want, but it involves trying to control other people. Now, in that example I gave you, like there is a certain amount of control I can exercise over my 7-year-old. Like I can
Mhm.
go in the other room and pick him up and bring him back in. Kind of, he's getting heavy, but I can still kind of do that, like with our minor children, there is an extent that we can do that. But I don't want to have that kind of control over him in that situation, right? I want him to learn how to regulate. And for me to go and try to control him and muscle over him in that moment would have been coming from frustration and from trying to get my own way and from disappointment in how he was reacting, or just wanting plain old resistance to the emotion. Like, or resistance to the reality of what was happening, right? I had this idea in my head that this is supposed to be our nice, calm bedtime routine, and you're having an emotion right now and something's gone wrong. When I remind myself, like, he's having an emotion right, he's allowed to have an emotion anytime he wants. Nothing has gone wrong. And instead of trying to control him and say he shouldn't have this emotion right now and how can I end it, bringing it back to me and what I want. What do I want? I want to stay calm. I want to keep reading. I want to create peace right now. And the way to do that is to do what I want and to carry on reading. So being in touch with what you want and what you can control is very important.
Mm. So what do I want and what can I control? Like what can I really control? What is in my control? And then let go of what is not in your control. Love
Yes.
that.